4 to 5, Eric Chilton here with Maddie Gardner. Chad Silber got a lot planned for you over the next hour.
And weather is one of them. I mean, okay, I was outside for 30 minutes today, and I was in shorts and a t-shirt, and it was like I just got out of the shower.
You walk out and you just swim to your car.
Yeah.
The Muggies will stay with us for another day or two. We got some changes coming up by the end of the week.
I know everyone is looking ahead to that 4th of July forecast, so I know you'll be talking about that.
It is the 4th of July.
It's true.
Listen, I am all turned around today. I don't know my first, last name, what day of the week it is, so it's a good thing that you both are here.
Maddie Gardner, Wednesday.
5 days away from the 4th of July.
I don't know what day it is either.
I got it wrong. I said Wednesday.
Oh, really?
I was hoping it was
Okay,
Wednesday.
so we're glad Chad is here to keep us straight is essentially what we're saying.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Like Maddie was saying, we have a lot to talk about today. The big one, though, the Delta variant. We have now learned 8 of NC State's baseball players tested positive for COVID-19, and they all had the Delta variant, according to the school's chancellor. Now, in a video message on the university's website, leaders say 4 players were unvaccinated and 4 were vaccinated. The outbreak ended the team's incredible run in the College World Series. The Wolfpack was just 1 win away from playing in the finals for the very first time.
Well, you have likely heard more about the Delta variant lately. It accounts for more than 20% of all new U.S. COVID-19 cases. So what do we need to know about this mutation of the virus? I went to Dr. Cynthia Snyder with Cone Health for the facts. So how does the Delta variant differ from other strains of COVID-19 that we've seen in the past?
So, you know, we anticipated that the SARS-CoV-2 virus would mutate. We know that this Delta variant is more infectious. The urgency that we had to get vaccines back earlier this year, we should still have that same urgency for those now who are unvaccinated. So our worry is that we anticipate that these cases that may be the predominant virus in North Carolina. I don't think we're there yet. Been in a couple weeks, likely.
And the vaccine may not 100% protect you from getting the virus, but it can prevent you from getting those really serious symptoms.
Yes, without a doubt. And that's the key thing, right? Nobody wants to be hospitalized.
So the bottom line is this: if you are not vaccinated, consider getting the vaccine. And Dr. Snyder says even if you have gotten a shot, it's still a good idea to wear a mask when you're around a lot of people, like if you're grocery shopping or in a large crowd. Coming up at 5:45, hear how Dr. Snyder responded when I asked her why we should bother getting the vaccine if we still have a chance to get the virus.
Well, we have made some big gains in our state's coronavirus hospitalizations. Today's number, 384. It's 79 fewer than where we were just 1 week ago. We've now been below the 400 mark for 3 days in a row. This continues the trend that we have seen over the past few weeks, where we've shaved off about 100 hospitalizations every week. We've come a long way too. At our peak, our state was reporting nearly 4,000 hospitalizations every day. If you're planning to get a vaccine, be aware you can get the first and second doses from different locations, either a different facility, even a different state. You will just need your vaccination card.
The Council of State has less than an hour left to decide if North Carolina will extend its evictions moratorium. Even though the CDC extended the national evictions moratorium through July 31st, Governor Roy Cooper's order ends tomorrow. The CDC's order does not apply in states where a local moratorium is in place if that state's order has similar or higher levels of protection. North Carolina is one of several states with its own moratorium in place. But North Carolina has set aside more than $1 billion to help tenants cover housing and utility costs through the HOPE program and other local programs. Now, some counties have their own program in place, like Guilford and Forsyth counties. If you live in Greensboro or Winston-Salem, you can apply for the city funds, but you can't apply for the county funds. There are some guidelines to apply for all of that relief. All the information is on our website, WFMYnews2.com.
High Point Police went door to door today trying to get more information on the death of Gianna Delgado, a High Point University student killed last week. Police do this both to get new information, but also to educate people and let them know that police are aware of situations. Today's canvass was a little different. Members from the Guilford County Family Justice Center joined.
The community plays such an important role in that concept of if you see something, say something. And so when we give people the invitation to share with us, they can ask their questions, they can talk about things that maybe didn't seem quite right. And so that dialogue is really what builds those partnerships, relationships, but also makes this a we problem.
Meantime, Michael Cadogan, Delgado's boyfriend and the suspect in this case, will be coming back to the triad in the coming days. Gianna's father tells us Cadogan robbed his family of someone incredibly special.
When a parent loses a child, it's no explaining it. I would never thought that I would be going through this type of pain and loss, and you know, to be in the room with the man that took my daughter's life. I mean, he had no reason to do it. You know, my daughter was good, and me knowing that he did that, and me knowing that you know, I could have did more, but you know, I didn't.
We'll have more on this story coming up tonight at 5.
Let's turn now to more headlines in your 4 to 5 roundup. It is the 6th day of a search for survivors in the rubble of a Florida condo building. 150 people are still missing after the building collapsed in Surfside. 11 people are confirmed dead. No one has been found alive since last Thursday. Now, it is not clear what caused the building to fall, but there is some new information showing possible structural damage. CBS News reports that an anonymous contractor shared photos with the Miami Herald showing a wet floor, cracked concrete, and damage in the pool equipment room. Those photos were taken 2 days before the collapse. But to be clear, there is no indication that the damage played a role in this tragic incident. Police in Memphis, Tennessee are now looking for an infant boy and his father after his mother was killed. Police say the mother was dropped off at a local hospital on Sunday, but she was already dead from gunshot wounds. 7-month-old Braylon Clark is still missing. His photo is on your screen right now. Police believe he is with his father, Barry Medlock, whose photo is now on your screen. Medlock is wanted for second-degree murder. And talk about terrifying. Raleigh police are warning people about a cobra on the loose. Officials say this is a zebra cobra, and it is known for spitting venom. And this snake escaped captivity. Now, police are worried that the snake could spit on or bite someone if it is cornered. These snakes are normally found in parts of Africa and have black and brown bars across their bodies. State law does not stop someone from keeping venomous reptiles in their homes as long as they are secure. And clearly this snake was just not secure enough. This is a big old no for me. Like, if you ask me what I think about this, it's just no.
My first thing is, why does someone have that? Like, I wouldn't want that in my house, especially with kids.
I mean, it's like the same thing as like that guy that had that lion, right? That got out, and the tiger that gets out. I mean, this reminds me of, you know, back in 2020, there was this tongue-in-cheek joke on social media, you know, like your 2020 bingo card, like all the different things that were on it.
Wrong.
This is like a 2021 bingo card. I mean, I wasn't expecting this.
Now, I do understand that snakes are an important part of our ecosystem and they play a role in, but no.
No,
a spitting snake, like, why?
I really.
Why do we need that?
You can just stop at snake, but when you add spitting to it, it's a whole different ball game. No, thank you.
Yeah, speaking of a different ball game, it is quite the situation in the Pacific Northwest. They are not getting a break from an incredible heat wave, and it's been going on for days. Millions are under excessive heat warnings as temperatures climb into the triple digits. Now, the issue is what weather experts are calling a heat dome, a mountain of warm air under a jet stream. Schools and businesses are closing to protect people. Even pools and ice cream shops have shut down because it's just too hot.
Yeah, crazy heat that they're experiencing out there. Now, we are not going to see anything close to that, but it is so unusual. In fact, we were chatting in the newsroom this morning about how, you know, the Pacific Northwest just being such a humid area, usually temperatures like this are almost unreachable at times. This is very, very unusual for them. Now, for us, 87 degrees, that's pretty much on the money. That's where we are right now, and upper 80s, that's where we should be. So 89 in Reedsville and Walnut Cove. Mount Airy, you have 84. 81 in Wilkesboro, 88 Winston-Salem, Burlington 87. Dew point's getting up there. We're in the 60s now, so 66-degree dew point temperature. What does that mean? You just have to look at the legend over here. It means it's getting humid. Once you get into the 70s, and We're not far from that, but once you get that, that's really like tropical moisture. Very oppressive out there. Not seeing a whole lot in the way of showers over our area yet. Could it happen? It absolutely could, but we're keeping those rain chances down a little bit. In fact, you look at the forecast, 70 tonight, partly cloudy, muggy, mainly dry conditions. Again, an outlying shower. There is a very slight chance, and maybe south and east of the Triad proper, so we'll keep you posted on that. But 89 degrees for tomorrow. As we head into the next day or so, just notice that high pressure continues with muggy conditions over us, and then that stationary front will start to move in. We think rain chances start to creep up a little bit on Thursday. Let's go with a 40% chance, still hot at 90, but maybe only in the 70s most of the day Friday. That will be a rainy, cloudy day with a few late day thunderstorms, 70% chance of rain. Weekend looking good though, the 3rd and the 4th, 82 and 84, with only a 20 to 30% chance of a shower. You know, it goes without saying that Bob Timberlake is literally one of North Carolina's treasures. His paintings and even the furniture line have been favorites of North Carolinians for decades. And now he's celebrating his 50th season as an artist with an exhibition like no other. I had the honor of spending a few minutes with him virtually today about this new exhibit. Take a look.
When I was little, I started drawing and messing and doodling. And a lot of this show is going to be about my doodling side. We've got a lot of easels, drawings, and things like that I doodle on while I'm painting and have ideas, put quotes down, got to go to the doctor next week. It's kind of what I'm thinking, not just while I'm painting, but after I get through with the painting. Actually, these doodles were in the vault, and my granddaughter got them out and said, we ought to frame these things, and they'd be interesting to folks that want to see what you're thinking about. This is the largest exhibition I've ever had, and I've had 8 in New York. I'm shown in Japan, Seattle, all over the United States almost, and especially here in North Carolina. But it's a culmination of, actually last year we had to cancel 4 exhibitions. And so this is accumulation of actually about 3 years of getting ready for this thing. So there's a lot of paintings in here. There's about 75, 80% that nobody's seen. The most asked question I have is, how do you come up with an idea for a painting? And it's not that. It's trying to choose from the 300 or 400 things I want to do.
Well, with this in mind, I asked you on Facebook, what North Carolina scenes would you most want to see in a work of art and why? So here's what you had to say here. Bobby Odom said, the view from the top of Hanging Rock at Hanging Rock State Park. It is breathtaking. Javette Coble said, lighthouses of North Carolina starting with Ocracoke. I agree with that one. Gary said, Britt's Donuts needs to be immortalized. Kathy says, any of our miles of beautiful beaches in the small towns that dot the coastline. I do love the small beach towns. They're some of my favorite things. They're so quaint and cool.
Those are my favorite in the summer, and then in the fall, I just love riding on the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were just talking about the most famous North Carolinians, Bob Timberlake, easily one of them. I'm a huge fan of just realist paintings, which is what he does. So I would love to go see this exhibit. But I mean, he is world renowned. Was invited to Buckingham Palace, invited to the White House by 2 different presidents, designed stamps for the Postal Service. He's a big deal.
He's done it all. And one of the things that he talked about, if you didn't catch it in the very beginning, he said, I asked him how it all got started. He said, when I was about 5 and 4, he said, I literally just doodled constantly all the time. And they saved a lot of that. So his doodles, he said some of them are just like, go to the doctor's office at 10 a.m., but then he'll doodle around it. And so all of those little personal items are on display in this exhibit. He said they were literally in a vault, and his granddaughter said, these need to be seen.
Wow, was this the first time you've met him?
No, several times I've interviewed him, but I haven't, probably been 10 years since I spoke with him. So such a great guy.
Wow.
Very cool.
Super humble too, to be as talented as he is. He's salt of the earth.
You should have him do a photo of you.
Ooh, well, it wouldn't be
never
a
do
self-portrait, but just like
I can do a self-portrait, a little cartoon. It's about all stick man.
It's like when you guys did the Jaguar logo, or the Panthers logo.
You're
Yeah,
still
that
stuck
was
in Florida.
incredible.
It's interesting because, I mean, you don't compare to Bob Timberlake, but you are a resident artist here.
Well, it's cartoons and they're pretty low-grade cartoons, but they're fun. We should share the one time that I did for you when I said that one day journalists will be live.
I was telling someone about that.
Which is
the other
true
day.
now, if you think about it.
It is true. It was kind of like Cat in the Hat inspired when he's like juggling all the things in the book, but Chilton drew me like juggling all the different things that we have to do each day.
I said kind of the future of journalism, that someone would go live by themselves and they'd have like, so I drew this little hat that had like a
I'm on a
satellite dish on it.
unicycle and like with a selfie stick.
But I'm thinking, you can now through a cell phone.
I love that.
I have a vintage Eric Chilton piece of art in my mother's yearbook, high school yearbook. He drew.
We won't say what year that was. We'll be right back before we, we're coming back, stay there.
It's awesome.
There he is.
What are you doing?
Okay. Yep.
What's happening?
You want me to follow you or?
No, just say that.
Okay.
Can someone explain it?
Okay, hopefully that should be good.
You're
I shot it with my cell phone.
You're watching a shot that will be included in my 2 cents, hopefully.
Cutting it close.
Yeah, I was going to
Jeff.
say, you are down to the wire.
Cutting it close. Isn't there a rule about having to have
Your videos in.
created that we had to have everything done before the show started?
Very true.
How's everybody doing?
My 2 cents is about managing up things you should never say to your boss. Can you
there's my
guys want to try to
microphone.
guess one of the top
Things
5?
you should never say to your boss. I can't do that.
Okay, that is sort of one
Kind
of
of
them.
one.
One of them said not in my job description.
Oh.
It shouldn't
I
say
don't
that.
get paid enough for this.
That's
kind of
not. That is in there, but not the top 5.
Okay.
Come on, Chad. I'm expecting good things.
I'm
from you
sorry.
right now.
Chad is the master.
I honestly didn't hear anything
He's
you
editing
said.
scripts right now.
Sorry.
He's actually working.
Facebook, I know. I'm not ignoring you. I just, I get a
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. The WNBA says 99% of its players are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. That's more than any other U.S. sports league. In a statement, the WNBA says all 12 teams have met the threshold for being considered fully vaccinated. The league added none of its players tested positive for the virus since the regular season started, and they're more than halfway through the season.
Tour de France competitors protested at the start of today's stage against dangerous racing conditions. Riders got off their bikes and stood in silence for 1 minute before starting the race again. Riders have crashed multiple times in the different stages. In the first stage, a fan caused a pileup when they leaned across barricades with a sign blocking the path. A bicyclist fell and took others down with him. Another crash involved dozens of others.
It was a thrill of a lifetime.
I love this story. This is 70-year-old Gwen Goldman talking about achieving her biggest dream after decades. Back in 1961, Gwen wrote a letter asking the New York Yankees to be a Batgirl. This was back when she was 10 years old. Well, the GM at the time denied her request, saying the dugout was no place for a girl. Well, fast forward to this year when Gwen's daughter sent the letter back to the Yankees, who wanted to correct their wrong. So on Monday night, you can see Goldman served as the team's Batgirl, but she also got to throw out the first pitch. I love that. They definitely did the right thing. Good on the Yankees for making that okay.
That's so cool.
Probably true. I know she was moved to tears. You could see her wiping tears away at one point. And what he said is kind of funny. The dugout is no place for a girl. I think maybe back then it might not have been, depending on what they were saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Giving me a league of their own vibes.
Yeah.
You know.
No crying in baseball. In this case, she can cry. I think it's a good thing she did.
I'm glad they corrected it. That's all I can say.
Cool.
I'm happy to see that.
Do you have a sports thing where you would, it's kind of like, okay, if I could ever check that box, I would, like be on the bench of a team?
I would love to be a Zamboni driver.
I can see that. It's weird because I don't actually want this to happen, but I just want to know what it feels like to tackle somebody. Especially
in football,
or rugby. I guess they tackle, but probably football because there's a little bit more protection involved. I don't know, just like, you know.
I just want to know what it feels like to run through that tunnel as a Tar Heel with that jersey on. Just to do it. Even if I just ran
Keenan
through
Stadium.
and sat on the bench just once. Very cool.
Wait, in the Dean Dome or in Keenan Stadium?
No, Dean Dome.
Okay, talking basketball.
I don't need to be anywhere near football.
That's me.
In half. We'll be right back.
Are we on Facebook?
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. When it seems like you can't catch a break, you may ask yourself, why me? So in today's YOUDAY segment, Coach Lamont reminds us that keeping our faith guides us toward the life we want to live.
One day I misplaced my keys. I looked everywhere. Well, I looked everywhere except the place where my keys were held, the couch. I eventually found them, but I gained a revelation about the meaning of faith that day. As I searched for my keys, I had no clue where they were, but my couch knew. What was invisible to me was visible to my couch. Just because I could not see them, it didn't mean that my keys didn't exist. They were invisible to me. They were visible in the place where they were being held. What you cannot see, faith sees for you. And faith is used to unlock the unseen, making it visible in your scene. Faith is the bridge, the driver connecting what you see here to what you intend to manifest out here. So use faith to unlock the life you desire most so that you can become the best version of you. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best YOUDAY. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's such good advice. I mean, faith is believing things that you can't physically prove, in my opinion, and it's one of the first things that you lose when things get tough. You lose faith, and so just that reminder is great from Coach Lamont today.
It's a test. You know, I think everything that we all go through, there's sort of like, you know, my dad always said, everybody faces adversity, but it's how you handle it that determines who you are. And so not losing that faith is hard to do in those hard times, but you have to do it.
And how many times have I lost my keys in the couch?
Yes.
Very relatable example.
I was about to say, to get real on that note for just a minute, my son Tyler is forever pushing the remote down between the couch cushions, and then I can't find it, and I'm going crazy till I find it.
Yes. By the way, that was a very nice couch.
By the way, every scene we've seen of this guy's house, I want
Who
to go
is his
visit this
interior
house.
designer? I want to hire them.
It's phenomenal. All right, we're going to put together the best shots of YOUDAY and show you his house front to center. We'll be right back.
Let us come hang out with you, Coach Lamont.
Yes, please.
Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. I know, I'm like, you could just go.
Because there's no way I can get from 3 seconds to here. Mic check Jalen. Mic check Jalen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check Jalen.
Welcome back to 4 to 5. They have given me the reins over controlling this newscast today. I'm Chad Silver, Maddie Gardner, Jalen Gilkey, Eric Chilton. We are
I can't
here
even see
and
me,
we are.
Chad, you in the way.
I'm sorry. Here, how's that?
There we go.
Come over
That's
here,
better.
closer to me.
Slide to the left.
I'm
this
texting the
is
boss,
good.
Chad. Don't let that happen.
Come
This
closer.
looks good.
Come
Come closer, Chad. Now
Perfect.
it's off center.
Look at that. Looks great.
It looks
does look
better.
better.
Yeah.
It looks better. We'll get it there eventually. Thank you for joining us today. We are live on Facebook. If you didn't know, we were chatting with you there, so head on over to WFMY News 2's page. I definitely see Jalen has been in the chat. Chad, have you been there yet?
Why would you call me out like that?
Well,
That's the
I
most
looked at it.
effective way to make you get on there.
All
We
right,
didn't
I'm
even
going-
ask
I'm
Eric
going on there right
because
now.
he's never there.
Going there right now. Bye.
Okay, bye. We do have a lot of news to get to today, and we are going to get straight to Jalen Gilkey this afternoon with new information about what's been going on the Dan River. Jalen, some new signs going up today.
Well, recently today, the Dan River Keeper, it was working on trying to get Spanish-speaking signs up on the river for warnings before this weekend coming up. The good stewards of Rockingham County and Steve Pulliam, the Dan River Keeper, are taking action to try to prevent another tragedy.
Today I've been going up and down between this access on Bethlehem Church Road and the dam at Duke Energy Facility in Eden, scouting locations for our bilingual signage to go up.
The plan is for temporary signage to be up before this coming holiday weekend, and hopefully the permanent Spanish language warnings will be up in the near future.
We're a diverse community, we're a diverse country, and it's overdue time for us to embrace the diversity, accept each other for our differences because they make each of us better. But part of that is making sure that we have adequate signage, adequate inclusion for each community.
This is what the sign will look like, and as of right now, all signage on the Dan River is in English, but the plan is to have the bilingual signs up by this holiday weekend.
All right, thanks, Jalen. Well, we have learned the identities of the 3 shooting victims in Rockingham County. Alexander Grubbs and Jordan Gwynn died. Rebecca Gwynn is still in the hospital. Sheriff's deputies responded to a home on Dan River Church Road Sunday night where all 3 had been shot. Deputies believe the victims were on the porch when someone shot them from the tree line near the house.
Let's turn now to more headlines in your 4 to 5 roundup this afternoon. High Point police went around today asking people for more information about the death of Gianna Delgado. She is the High Point University student reportedly killed by her former boyfriend. Yesterday, her suspected killer, Michael Cadogan, waived his extradition. So this means law enforcement officials will start the process to bring him back to North Carolina and into custody. The department gets 10 to 30 days to do that. We spoke to Gianna's father about his heartbreaking loss. You can hear from him coming up at 5 o'clock. Who can forget that sweet, sweet voice? T. Wingate Andrews principal Marcus Galls is singing the national anthem tonight before the High Point Rockers game at Truist Point. He'll start singing at 7 p.m. and the first pitch will be thrown out at 7:05. Now, you probably remember him from his rendition of I Will Always Love You to the high school graduating class.
One of the big national stories we continue to follow, search and rescue teams are frantically trying to find 150 people still missing in the rubble of a condo collapse in Florida. 11 people are dead and families are still holding out hope.
I can show you 10,000 pictures and 9,999 pictures he will be smiling.
Despite his life-threatening battle with muscular dystrophy, 26-year-old Luis Bermudez Jr., or Luio as his family knew him, always smiled. His body and that of his mother were found under the debris.
And I'm very sad. I'm broken heart.
Luis Bermudez Sr. last saw his son right before Father's Day.
He's a warrior, and he's in heaven. And I'm gonna miss him the rest of my life.
Anguish and pain is rippling throughout this Florida community.
My grandmother is the most loving person that I know.
92 years old, going on 62. That's how Mike Noriega describes his fiercely independent grandmother, Hilda. After hearing the news, he and his father, a local police chief, rushed to the scene.
When I saw it with my own eyes, I just dropped to my knees.
Among the debris, there was this.
My father stepped on something, which was this. And that's my grandmother's name, Hilda. When my father opened this up, it was a birthday card that she had just received from a group of friends about 2 weeks prior. We didn't know what else we could find, and we eventually found these two. The one that blew me away the most is that is my grandmother. That's my grandfather right there, and that's my father. And I believe that God is not a God that did miracles in old biblical days, but that he still does them today. And so until this is over, we're going to keep our faith as high as possible.
Mike said finding that picture of Miss Hilda brought him and his family an overwhelming sense of peace. In fact, he said it was almost like a sign from God saying, I have your grandmother, and if she's underneath that rubble, I am with her.
Triple-digit temperatures are now scorching the West Coast. In Portland, Oregon, temperatures forced the city's streetcar system to shut down because the power cables actually melted. In Seattle, roads cracked along major highways, and a public pool shut down because the air quality was dangerous. Restaurants are starting to close their kitchens to protect staff.
Part of the reason I moved here was to come in the summer to have relief from Arizona heat, and I seem to have brought it with me, so I'm not real thrilled.
As a result, electricity prices have shot up in parts of the West Coast by more than 400%. This is according to a Bloomberg report.
All right, looking at our forecast, nothing close to that. We see mostly clear skies as far as shower activity is concerned. But when you look at the bigger picture here, got some thunderstorm warnings in eastern Tennessee, but most of this will stay away from us. Now, is there an outside chance of maybe a stray shower south and east? Yes, but not a great chance. Let's go with partly cloudy tonight, a low of 70. Then tomorrow, 89, a mix of sun and clouds, mainly dry. The muggy conditions continue, though, and rain chances will start to go on the increase toward the end of our forecast period, especially when we get to the end of the work week and toward the weekend. That's our best chance of a shower. We'll go up with a 40% on Thursday with a high of 90, and then 70% chance on Friday. So that's our day that we think it'll be basically cloudy, on again, off again rain for most of the day. Late day thunderstorm is possible, but a cooler high at 79. The weekend looks great, the 3rd and the 4th, 82, 84 for both days. Slight rain chance in the afternoon, a little less humid on the 4th of July. And then Monday, Tuesday, mostly dry, only a 20% chance, and below normal highs in the mid 80s.
All right, so question. Anyone ever here forgotten to pay a bill?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it happens, right? We're human. You forget to pay a bill. And what happens when you forget to pay the bill?
You get charged more.
Penalty.
I call the company, beg and
You do?
plead
you?
to give me I don't know, forgiveness.
You're the kind of person who like argued to get
Sure.
us grades rates too, aren't you? Like
No.
you call the professor.
They were so low, there was no coming back.
Now. Okay, so late fees, that's kind of a given. Maybe they send you a letter. Maybe they threaten to send you to collection. So if you got a call from a debt collector, and they are allowed to call you, by the way, what questions would you ask them if they said, hey, you owe this bill and you missed it?
Well, I would need an explanation first. I would just say, tell me exactly when was I supposed to pay this, and I'd check my records, I guess, first.
Yeah.
What can I do to make it right?
Yeah.
What can I do to make it right? Yes, these are all good questions.
But I'd probably have to find out whether they were even real, right?
Yeah, all good. They're fantastic. You should be asking the same things. We had a local pastor get a call about a medical bill, and here's how it went down.
He said he was trying to collect a debt for U.S. diagnostic laboratories. And I said, when was this debt allegedly made? He said, sometime in May, around May 27, 2018. And I've got calendars going back to 1975 of every day of my life. So I pulled out 2018, and that was a Sunday, the 27th. And there was no doctor's appointments that day. Once a debt is sold to an agency, we're not allowed to give that out. I said, well, can you mail me an itemized statement of what I'm owed and specifically what I'm owed for? Well, if we do that, then that's going to be an increased fee. Right now, it's $461.50. I don't know what this is, but unless I get more information, well, if you don't satisfy it today, then it's going to go against your credit rating. There could be a lawsuit.
All right, so you see how that's going. Jim did a great job of asking the right questions and really pushing back. Here are the facts. you have the right to know where the debt comes from. Under federal law, consumers are entitled to have a debt validated. No bill, no pay. It may not even be real, folks. Now, threatening to arrest you, garnish your wages, or seize your property is illegal under federal law. So again, just threats. Now, this could be a scam call, or it could be what we call zombie debt. And that's when the debt is past the statute of limitations to collect. But if you pay anything, even if it's just $1, it restarts the debt. So I'm just going to tell you, leave the debt alone.
This is quite the story. A Connecticut couple renewed their vows for a unique reason. Lisa Marshall says her husband has Alzheimer's and forgot they were married when he popped the question a second time.
But she explains that she'd marry him over and over again as the two learn more about this disease together.
Do you like me?
I like you so much.
The proposal came while watching a wedding scene on TV.
He looked at the TV and he said, "Let's do it." And I said, "Do what?" And he pointed to the TV and I said, "Do you want to get married?" And he said yes with this big grin on his face.
And Lisa Marshall said yes, again, to her husband, Peter. But she wasn't sure he'd remember asking.
Tell me again.
I love you.
Lisa took Peter to the doctor about 5 years after the forgetting began.
He was talking around the word airplane. So he was saying, you know, the thing that we get on when we travel and we go up in the sky, and he just couldn't remember that word.
In 2018, at age 53, Peter was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease.
My awareness of Alzheimer's was it's an older person's disease and I don't need to know anything about it.
She learned quickly as the disease progressed. In less than a year, Peter had to retire. By the next year, Lisa retired to become his full-time caretaker.
Hello. Hello.
Lisa's coping outlet is her blog, Oh Hello Alzheimer's.
It's a very lonely life because you lose your connection to to your soulmate.
So when Peter proposed, she decided to recreate their original 2009 wedding.
We had a very short window to do it because Peter was declining so rapidly.
Within 6 weeks, Marshall's wedding planning daughter had arranged everything.
It was a magical day. Peter was very bright and he was sharp and he was focused. He stayed with me cognitively all day long. It was beautiful.
So as Peter's memory fades,
I'll have that memory forever.
It's interesting. You think of, that one got to me a little
Yeah.
bit right then. You think of that the memory may fade, but the love doesn't. And it's really interesting how that something so horrible could actually bring a smile to them. That's amazing.
And I love that she and the family went through with this. They could have easily just said, no, we're already married.
Right.
But think about the memories that they created by renewing their vows like this.
And so great that he was able to be with them cognitively through the entire thing. You know, I mean, it easily could have also been a situation where he forgot even the proposal, you know, and he, I don't know, he was there through it all.
I'll tell you this, if I can do this real quick. The guy that wrote the book, I can't remember his name, Everything I Need to Know About Life I Learned in Kindergarten. Do you remember that book? It was 20 years ago, but it was a really popular book. And I saw him speak one time. He told a story that he had to go to the hospital, and there was an older gentleman there, and people came in and said, you know, Merry Christmas, Mr. So-and-so, and it was like July. And when he asked, after they took him into the doctor, he said, what is that? He goes, oh, well, my husband forgets, but he thinks every now and then he thinks it's Christmas Day. So his daughters will get their family together. They say he thinks it's Christmas today. They keep presents in the closet, and they all run to their house and open presents. I thought it was a great story.
Yeah, unfortunately, some new research is coming out about Alzheimer's disease. The FDA is still working on new treatments, and they approved a new drug actually to fight the disease. It removes buildup in the brain that causes Alzheimer's. Now, there are critics of this drug. They worry that the FDA's recent approval, claiming data does not show if the drug delays or prevents symptoms. The FDA's Independent Advisory Committee recommended rejecting the drug, but patients are already receiving it. It is actually the first Alzheimer's drug approved in more than 20 years, and many families are hopeful about this. The 4 to 5 will be right back.
Hello. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mic check. You sound so serious. Hello, hello. Mic check from the bathroom.
It is that time of year where we get excited to eat dinner on the patio, go for a walk with the family, or just be outside, really. But that can be ruined when you're getting bug bites. Some bugs, of course, can transmit disease, and some are just annoying. There are ways to protect your skin when you go outside, such as staying on outdoor trails instead of walking in long grass, or you can even wear long sleeve clothes and pants that are lighter in color so you can spot bugs on you.
The ones that really stand out on the top would be those that contain DEET, 30% DEET or more, or picaridin. You could also use oil of lemon eucalyptus, which is almost as good as DEET.
So if you are out and you find a tick on you, doctors say do not burn it or put Vaseline on the tick to try to remove it. Some common remedies. If the tick's head is stuck to you, but you get the body off, you could actually increase your chance of getting a disease. So what you should do is use tweezers or forceps to remove the tick and pull it straight out. Don't twist it when you try to remove it.
And speaking of nuisances in the outdoors, an Arizona woman's photo is spreading across social media showing 3 bobcats taking a cat nap on her front porch. Kate Smith shared the photo on Twitter saying they have been hanging around for a month. She did give a call to the Game and Fish Department asking them for help moving it, but the department told her relocating often results in the animals dying. Officials told Smith removing animals from their territory into an area they're unfamiliar with is more harmful. Smith believes the family should leave her property once the cubs are old enough to hunt on their own, but for now, they are sticking around. In her 24 years living in the home, she's only had one other bobcat encounter 3 years ago because it was injured.
So they're just going to stay.
Yep.
They're really cute, but I know that they can be dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You got a mother and the kids, and like she can't leave out that part of the house. I wouldn't think. You know?
Well, there is an eviction moratorium in place until the end of July, so
So she can't evict the bobcats.
Can't throw them out.
But I am glad that the wildlife experts said, like we can remove them, but I just want to let you know that oftentimes it does not end well.
True.
I think that I would want to know that if I were a homeowner's.
And I'm glad the homeowner was like, okay, that makes sense. We'll leave him here, but
for a while,
provide some protection or something.
Something.
I mean, what would you do?
I mean, you'd have to leave out the back door and sneak into your car to leave the house.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I do feel like even when they're old, maybe they'll come back to the house. Like, this is our home. This is where we were raised. I mean.
Well, hopefully, because I imagine they see them or hear them around, that they'll be, more welcoming if they cross paths, right?
Maybe they're getting
They'll
used
take an
to each
Uber
other.
to the house.
Yeah.
They'll Uber back to her house in about 2 years. Let's look at our forecast real quick, and we're looking at our 7-day outlook, which, pretty good for the next couple of days. I know we're hot, but at least the rain chances aren't all that bad, but 40%, that'll be Thursday evening. Friday could be the rainy day. That's kind of rain with a chance of thunderstorms late day, but much cooler in the upper 70s. That's 70% chance of rain. Holiday weekend, the 3rd and the 4th look great. 82 and 84 for those 2 days respectively, and only a 20 to 30% chance of a late day shower or storm.
Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock, the Delta variant is causing growing concern as the coronavirus strain spreads to nearly every state in the U.S. 8 NC State baseball players tested positive for it, ending their run at the College World Series, I should say. Triad doctors weigh in on this highly contagious strain. Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5.
Hey, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How long health experts?
Hello, hi there, welcome, shalom.
Hi there, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota.
Video, graphic, video. Graphic, video. 10-4?
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together.
Today's My Two Cents, we're talking about your work environment, how to manage up. Boy, I've heard that a lot in my career. Managing up is very important. It's not that you're being that person that nobody can stand, that sucks up to the boss all the time. It's not necessarily that. Managing up means doing the right things sometimes. So I went to monster.com, talking all things employment. Top 5 things you probably should never say to your boss. Here we go. Number 5. I can't stand working with so-and-so. Oh, they say managers don't want to deal with petty arguments. Figure it out. Plays well with others. Remember that. Number 4, that's not my fault. Well, you need to accept responsibility if it was and show the boss a better way that won't cause that problem in the future. Solving problems, yes. Number 3, but we've always done it this way. Well, now we're going to find a new way. Number 2, it's not part of my job description. Well, no matter what you were hired for, Monster.com says your ultimate goal is still the success of the business. Work it out. And the number 1 thing that a boss does not want to hear is, can't work this weekend, got plans with my friends. Well, now you don't. That's just the way it works. Now we know, manage up appropriately, my friends, and life will be a lot better. That is just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
The CDC says 1 in 5 new COVID cases are from the Delta variant. The highly contagious version of the virus was first